I might not use the similar language, but I'm
That's
sure
all
we
right.
can meet. Okay. So I don't really have an organized question, but I think we could have.
Do you have a disorganized one?
I do, actually.
All right.
So just let me know if I'm off, but this is what I've gathered so far.
All right.
In this human experience.
By the way,
Yes.
asking to be told when you're off is being off.
Oh, is being off. Okay.
Yes. Just having some fun with it.
Sure. Oh, perfect. So how I feel it is that it's all one infinite consciousness, and we're appearing within that.
Well, in a sense, yes.
And
Because
that-
there is nothing outside of it.
And it's like a dream, like God's dream,
Yes.
Source's dream.
Yes. That doesn't remove your autonomous nature because you're a co-dreamer.
Okay, so
Yes.
there is an individual essence within that ultimate.
Yes. If you're standing in a hall of mirrors, don't you see different reflections?
Yes.
Well, they're all reflections of you, but nevertheless, they're still individuated, even though they're all reflections of you.
Of the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, same idea.
So is there an actual individual autonomous, you can say, soul that is reincarnating in different realities? Or is it the one infinite consciousness? Like once me, what I view as me, once myself is done, is
Done
it
with
just
what?
another? Done
You mean
with
as the
this-
physical experience?
No. As with this particular dream of
The
that I'm-
physical experience.
The physical experience.
You're having this life, you mean?
Yes, this particular life that I'm living.
Yes.
Will it just pop out a new life with like there's no continuation of this one, or will consciousness just pop out a new life?
Well, you're kind of asking two questions in one from different perspectives because you're asking a linear question and a nonlinear question simultaneously as if it was the same question. It depends on the level you're coming from, the perspective you're asking the question from.
Okay.
From your physical space-time perspective, you are you. You will never be anything else. You have never been anything else. But there are an infinite number of parallel versions of this life that many people might recognize as quote-unquote you that are not actually you. But from a higher level, from, let's say, the oversoul level,
Okay.
the oversoul is having all of those incarnations simultaneously, all at once, and recognizes itself as having that life, having that life, having that life, having that life. Now, you can create the effect that you call reincarnation, but it's just an effect. It's a perspective effect because all things exist at once, including all those other people. All exist now. Therefore, you don't ever actually become them, but you can make connections to them energetically in the present that from a space-time perspective you interpret as either a memory of a past life or a precognition of a future one. But you don't actually ever become those persons as a person, while you may actually be those people as the oversoul that you are also an extension of. So it depends on what level you're asking the question from that gives you a different answer.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So my interest has always been in self-realization, enlightenment,
Yes.
God realization.
Yes, well,
And-
self-realization is what consciousness is.
right, realizing what you actually are.
In other words, it's not even that complicated.
Oh, okay.
In other words, you have no sense of self if there is no sense of an other. Do you follow?
Yes.
So the idea is that the reflection is what creates self-awareness. Without the reflection, there is no self-awareness. There is no expression of consciousness. Because you see, the one, the unbroken one, has no self-awareness. But the first reflection of itself to itself is where consciousness and awareness come from. And that's what we call all that is. It's the, shall we say, portion of the non-experiential, non-aware one that is actually aware of itself as everything. But that requires a ripple, a reflection of itself back to itself, so that it creates a sense of an other that gives it its sense of itself.
Yes. A
And
reflection.
that is the basic idea of consciousness and awareness.
Wow. So
Yes.
would you, okay. So let's talk about death.
Yes.
You elaborated on it earlier. but could you elaborate it more? Like what the transition, is there a memory of like, I mean, infinity, like if this soul has lived thousands, millions.
From a linear
lives,
perspective,
okay.
because remember, everything exists all at once.
Absolutely.
Time is subject to existence. Existence is not subject to time. Existence just is. And if you are part of existence, I assume you are, or I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I also am, but that's another story.
Yes.
If you exist, that's your fundamental quality. You can't become non-existent because by definition, non-existence doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Therefore, that which is cannot become that which is not. You cannot have an experience of that which is not. Nothing is not nothing. Nothing is still something because you can still conceive of it within existence. Right. Non-existence is literally inconceivable.
There only is.
There only is. Therefore, when we talk about infinity and eternity, all we're really saying is you just are.
So
that can't change. You just are.
So with this experience right now,
yes.
I go into states and I have different experiences of
you
realizing
as the
my
physical
eternal
person, yes.
As a physical person realizes the eternal nature.
Yes, to whatever degree the physical mind can grasp it.
But is it really possible to be fear of the fear of death?
Is it possible to
be liberated of the fear of death while still in a physical body?
Absolutely.
Or is the mind always going to be in fear?
No.
Okay.
You can arrive at a point where you have the ability to let go of all the negative belief systems, all the negative definitions. You will continue from that point forward to divest yourself, but not of negative beliefs, only of that which is no longer relevant. But the physical mind is more than capable of understanding the difference between what you call the survival mechanism and the understanding that you don't ever actually die. Not really, in the way that many humans mean it. Because you exist. All you do is change form. So you can allow your physical mind and even the survival mechanism portion of it to get used to the idea that death is really no different than if you changed your clothes. And I don't think your physical mind is afraid of you changing your clothes. Yes or no?
I think the mind is attached to its sense of...
But the mind is your creation.
So it's you creating the mind.
Yes.
Ah, there we go. That's amazing. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Because remember, you're just channeling your personality. This is only a portion of you. You're dreaming that you're not in spirit, but you are. That's your natural state. This is just a dream that you're having in spirit.
So with your race,
yes,
did you? I take it you're all self-realized, obviously, self-realized, enlightened, God-realized, whatever you want to call it.
We call it being Sasani.
Being Sasani. So is it no longer that? I guess that's of no more importance because so many people here on Earth are trying to reach God. The experience of God is so important to some people.
We have arrived at a point in our evolution where it's not a relevant choice. It's not a relevant choice to be afraid.
Oh, to be afraid. Oh, what I meant was, so because you know what you are.
Yes.
And you know you are the all that's the one and the one that's the all.
Yes.
You have switched your focus on something more feel like it feels good, like
yes.
Manifesting desire.
But that's what we mean by what we said.
Okay.
The opposite is no longer a relevant choice. We validate it as an equal choice, but it's not relevant for who we know ourselves to be anymore. In the same way that certain things you experienced or chose to do as a child are simply no longer relevant for you.
Right.
Yes?
Right.
You're not afraid of them. You recognize that those are valid choices, but they're not relevant for you as an adult. Same idea. Wow. They're just not relevant.
So I had an epiphany recently.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah. Is because I kept wondering, how is it that if we're all living on the same planet, but then
not.
you're saying you're not. Yeah. So then I was like, well, no, the only way that it's possible that everyone starts seeing synchronicities based on them.
Yes.
It would mean that there is no physical reality.
There isn't.
Yeah. And it's appearing within this, it's appearing in 12, like I could say there's 8 billion beings on the planet. There's 8 billion worlds.
Yes.
Totally a reflection of themselves.
Yes.
But somehow we're all linked.
And most of, I won't say all, most of the 7 billion individuals are not only creating their own world experience, they are also co-creating a place that is called the shared world, so that you can interact from world to world by having this simulation of a shared world that you all think you live on, even though you don't.
So we're all contributing to that.
You are. It's an orchestration.
But on an individual level, if you're peaceful in nature, you're seeing, for your own individual life, not necessarily the world, you're experiencing a peaceful experience.
Yes, and you can still have that peaceful experience even though you may have agreed to be able to perceive a shared world in which choices are being made that are not relevant or vibrationally compatible with what you prefer. Now, eventually that will change, because the tracks are spreading farther and farther apart. Your world is splitting into different parallel time streams, in a sense, physically speaking. Therefore, for now, and maybe for several years to come, you will still be able to perceive those that make choices that are not compatible with the choices you would make. But in time, you will no longer see each other. That's why on our planet, there is not even a hint of those kinds of choices. They're simply not relevant for the vibrational frequency of existence that we exist in. Therefore, we see nothing but the kind of choices that are compatible with the reality we prefer in our collective world. Is this making some sense?
Absolutely. I have one last question.
Yes.
And it's kind of an entertainment question for me.
Oh, all right.
The pyramids.
Which ones? There are many around your planet.
Okay, so as ancient as we could know right now, was it an ancient civilization that came here and built those, or did we at one time, kind of like in the Indian terminology, like the different ages based on consciousness? So was that built in a previous golden age by us, or did ETs come down and do that?
Depends on the pyramid. And also understand that knowledge was passed down. Most of them were constructed by humans. Some of them had help from extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional sources, but a lot of the knowledge was simply gained by certain individuals being capable of doing astral travel and retrieving the information that they needed.
So we were more advanced consciously back then as well.
Yes.
In combination with extraterrestrials.
In combination, here and there. It was a mix of things.
And somehow we, like in Vedic culture, they talk about we went into a dark age. So would you say
yes,
we lost
although
our
not
connection?
Every place on your planet experienced that exactly in the same way, and not everyone actually even experienced a dark age. Many people on your planet tend to think that your history is representative of every single culture on your planet. It's not.
Right. So did at some point we lose the connection with the extraterrestrials and we lost that knowledge because
Well, you haven't really lost the connection, or we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
Nevertheless, many of you did kind of go to sleep for a while and thought that we were nothing more than a dream or a nightmare. Now you're waking up. Here we are. And so we've always been here. It's just a matter of whether you could actually perceive it or not. Now, the shifts usually occurred because the Earth has a certain story to it, a certain program attached to it that used to be its major program. This is changing, but a lot of the idea of the ancient Earth program included, and still to some degree includes, the idea of certain cycles of renewal. And therefore, some of the so-called dark ages were created by what you call cometary and asteroidal bombardments that wiped out many civilizations as it did with such civilizations you call Atlantis. That's why it disappeared in the blink of an eye. There was an asteroid that struck the Atlantic Ocean and wiped it out. So this happens frequently on Earth. And therefore, the knowledge is preserved in some of the pyramidal structures and other structures because the people that built them knew it would happen again. They were aware of the cycles, and they wanted to preserve the knowledge so that when you grew again as a civilization, you'd be able to find those edifices that wouldn't be destroyed and see information encoded within them that would help you build the civilization back up, ideally to a point where you wouldn't be destroyed again. How you doing so far?
I'm still with you.
All right. I meant, how's your civilization doing?
Oh, not so great.
Making some choices.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's good. Bringing things out in the open, seeing the negativity and the positivity in a clear light, making choices as to what you prefer, and following that track. Yes?
You're amazing.
So are you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, all of you, remember, we can't be amazing if you're not. So you must be amazing too, or we wouldn't be, because we are all reflections of one another. The only difference between us, the only difference between us is that we know who we are, and you are waking up to who you are.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My first question is, how do we raise our vibration frequency so we can shift to the higher dimension besides being positive and grateful? Is that a weird question?
It's a question that was already answered a little while ago.
Was it? Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
All right. Would you like to hear the answer again?
Following the passion?
Yes,
Okay.
to the best you can. And the third part of the answer is no insistence or assumption as to the outcome of the action you take on your passion.
Gotcha.
That's the whole formula. I gave the instruction manual. There are no more instructions. Remember that conversation?
Gotcha. Now, you mentioned earlier that the universe has negative and positive.
Of course, every level does.
Does that exist in the higher dimensions?
Every level does. It doesn't mean you experience it in the same way. Just as we told you, the negative experience for us is simply not a relevant choice, but we're aware that it is a choice. It never disappears. In fact, the paradox is the more aware you become of the positive and the negative. That gives you the opportunity to understand that it's always a choice. Remember when we mentioned that little yin-yang symbol before?
Yes.
You know how one side is predominantly white and one side is predominantly black, and yet each side contains a dot of the opposite? Yes?
Yes.
That means that no matter how far you go into the positive, no matter how far you go into the negative, there is always the choice to touch into the opposite. That never leaves. There is the center line, which is the balance point, that gives you the freedom to choose what you prefer, but that doesn't mean you invalidate what you're not choosing. It just means you neutrally don't prefer it. It's simply not relevant. But you don't dismiss it. You don't invalidate it. You can use it to your advantage. This is most often summed up in the little phrase, it's easier to see a candle flame when it's surrounded by darkness. Therefore, the darkness has benefits if you know how to use it to frame and highlight the light. Yes?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. And
Anything else?
yes, as a matter of fact, I'm a flight attendant, so I chose to.
Does that mean you're often high?
No. Well, I chose this profession so I can travel to all these ancient sites like
Yes.
the
How
pyramids.
exciting.
Very exciting.
Yes.
But
But, you mean and?
yes.
Yes.
I have this strong desire also to explore other planets.
Go right ahead.
Like when I
Go right ahead.
When I leave this physical dimension.
Well,
will I
you
be-
do it astrally. Do you mean
Okay.
physically?
Well, maybe physically. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Well, then not much of a excitement if you don't know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, because I'm a big fan of Star Trek.
We understand.
So,
So let it guide you.
oh, okay.
You do visit other places, all of you, when you're asleep,
Just
in astral form.
how come we don't remember them?
Well, they may not necessarily be relevant for you to remember those experiences on Earth because they might clutter up your ability to simply live your life. You wouldn't know if you were coming or going.
Oh, okay. I see. Gotcha.
Yes? Now, you can incorporate more of it, and in fact, the idea of your attractiveness to that particular program is a sign that you are having those kinds of experiences, or you wouldn't be attracted to it. It wouldn't seem natural. It wouldn't seem familiar to you. It wouldn't seem to be representative of the kind of reality that you prefer if you weren't already connected to those realities. So that in and of itself is a cultural symbol that you are bringing more of that down to earth to become part of that so-called union or federation or association or alliance or whatever term you wish to use. When open contact with your world begins in the window of 2025 to 2033 and 40, sparingly at first, but accelerating from there, you will find that eventually Earth will become a member of the Interstellar Alliance. So you are heading as a society in that direction in general, at least those of you on that path. And it is usually a symbol that when you're attracted to programs like that you're on that path, or you wouldn't be attracted to them. And we certainly wouldn't be having this conversation.
Oh, thank you.
We do give off a certain frequency. And if you're attracted into that frequency and create these conversations with us, that again can be another marker and another symbol and another sign that you are walking a similar path vibrationally.
Gotcha.
So this, right now, this is the beginning of contact. These are the first stages of contact. Conversation. To see what ideas you are willing to absorb and which ideas you are not. And then we can gauge whether you are more or less vibrationally compatible to continue to accelerate the process of open contact with your civilization. I'm a first contact specialist. This is what I do. And it's what I've done with many civilizations. In particular, I chose Earth because I knew it would be so very exciting.
It's very exciting. Now, is there a crystal that since this seminar is about crystals,
Yes.
is there a crystal that you can recommend that we use?
You understand that we did energize and create the idea of the contact crystal as a vote for contact, but it's really up to you to decide what you're attracted to. Because that's your permission slip. That's why you'd be attracted to it. So whatever kind of crystal you wish to use as a permission slip is really up to you to determine based on whether or not you're attracted to it. But please remember, like all permission slips, it's simply something your belief system says you need in order to give yourself permission to be more of who you are. You're actually the one making the change. Yes?
Yes.
So, if you want to use a crystal permission slip, that's up to you. Have fun with it. If you don't, that's fine too. All tools, all techniques, all rituals, all objects are permission slips that you use to give yourself permission to be more of who you are. And ultimately you realize you're the ultimate permission slip since you're the one making the change anyway. And none of these things are actually doing it for you. But you may believe you need them, and that's fine. If it works, as you say, to lubricate the process, grease the wheel, then use it.
Thank you.
Does this help?
Yes, sir.
Then pleasant dreams and happy journeys to you.
Happy journey.
Boldly go.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Yes, so my question is, what is your opinion about dimethyltryptamine as well as all other psychedelics placed here on Earth?
NM, dimethyltryptamine, DMT, is naturally produced by the pineal gland in your brain, and it is produced in high quantities, usually when you are sleeping, and this is why you have greater access to the astral realms, because it opens up different dimensions to you. DMT requires also very specific dosages because different dosages operate at different frequencies and create different experiences because they tap into different dimensional realms.
Fantastic.
When you act on your passion, you do increase the production in very specific ways of DMT within the pineal gland and within the brain and within the body. And it can guide you to those vibrational compatible dimensional realms that will be more representative of the experiences you need to have to continue on your path.
So would you recommend, like, let's say, these natural psychedelics for
I do
awakening?
not recommend.
You do not.
I simply say that you are attracted to different teachers that are produced naturally on the earth by the earth as teachers to guide you. Whatever you are attracted to as a teacher, you can use to your advantage if you do it in an appropriate fashion. But the thing to always remember is that they are engendering within you familiarity with certain kinds of energy states. And eventually the idea is that you generate that state on your own without needing the teacher. At a certain point, continuing to need the teacher instead of generating it on your own becomes a crutch or what you call an addiction. But if you understand that the teacher is simply teaching you how to become familiar with the state that you can ultimately generate yourself, then you are learning the lesson the teacher is designed to teach you.
Okay, yeah.
Does that help?
It was just a question. So
Well, and
sure.
it was just an answer.
Yes. So I have one more question.
Yes.
What is your opinion upon well, let me see if I can formulate a little better. So
How about what is our observation? Because it's not about really having an opinion. It's simply that we are telling you what we observe.
okay, so I believe what I observe is that there has been a millennia-long, let's say, monarchy controlling our blue planet. Let's say the 13 bloodlines.
Yes.
Is that coming to a close soon?
Not on that version of Earth, but on yours, it could. Remember, there are multiple versions of Earth. You never change the planet you're on.
Okay.
You change yourself and shift to another version of Earth that is more representative and reflective of the change you made within yourself. But those kinds of experiences, as you described it, will continue to exist on certain versions of Earth.
What about this version?
What version? This one? Sure. Oh, this one? Oh, this one? Oh, this one? Isn't that up to you?
Okay, yes, makes
Well,
sense. Sure.
Then, even though you can still see it, understand that because of the splitting into parallel realities becoming more visceral and more physical, just because you can see it doesn't mean there isn't a glass wall between you and them. They can't reach you.
Okay,
You understand?
I understand.
So stay in the vibrational state where you are in a different reality. No matter what it is you can see doesn't mean that it affects you unless you choose to be affected.
All right.
Yes?
Yes,
Does that help?
indeed.
All right.
Take care, my friend. Thank you.
And you as well.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I wanted to ask you if you could elaborate on the connection between Sirius star system and our emotions and emotional streams.
Emotions are connected symbolically with the idea of water. The Sirius vibration is also connected to the idea of water. It has the concept of fluidity, the idea of being able to dive deeply into yourself, into your consciousness, and discover the treasures buried below. Sirius is a bright light, the brightest star in your sky, and thus an illumination of the path that is true for you. It is connected telepathically to the dolphins and the whales who commune with the beings of Sirius constantly, and therefore live in the ocean, which is a conductor of that energy much better than the air around you. Visiting the dolphins and the whales and communing with them will also increase your ability to connect to the Sirius vibration and to gain balance and illumination within the emotional body of your being.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
That came directly from Sirius.
Wow.
If you could tell the slight difference between the energy there,
Yeah.
it wasn't typically us. It was an overlay of Sirius energy. Because our mentor and our collective higher self is the non-physical consciousness of Sirius.
Amazing.
We are all going up the ladder together in a triad. Sirius, Essassani, and Earth. Or should we now say Os, Eshakani, and Inanika, the three elevated names for Sirius, Essassani, and Earth. The fourth density names. Does this help?
Yeah.
Does that answer your questions, or is there something else?
That answers that question. I have one more.
Oh, all right.
I wanted to ask about the Fool archetype and what that teaches us about unconditional love and being more fully human.
I guess you just said what it teaches you.
Okay.
Because the idea is fully trusting how things unfold and that you will always be all right. And to some people that may seem foolish, but the fool is the wisest among them. Does that help?
Yeah. Is there some connection to the power to forget in the Fool?
In some senses, it's not exactly the power to forget, but that's a natural side effect of living in the moment, because you just know what you need to know when you need to know it. You don't have to rely on the concept you have called memory. You just know what you need to know when you need to know it. It's not about forgetting in the classical sense. It's just about not knowing until you need to know. And then knowing that when you need to know it, you will know it. It will not come to you a second later than you need to know it. Neither will it come a second sooner than you need to know it. It will be in perfect timing, because synchronicity is the organizing principle.
Thank you.
The fool knows this intuitively, innately.
Yeah.
It's just in their behavior. It's just in the vibration of their beingness. In that sense of the fool. Not someone just being foolish, which is different.
Right.
So, does that help?
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Our unconditional love to you as well, to all of you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
I heard on the radio today that about 51 pilot whales beached themselves in New Zealand.
Yes.
Can you offer an explanation?
Magnetic anomalies shifting in your electromagnetic field confuses them sometimes. But it also gives you people an opportunity to engage with them in a different way. To understand how to balance your world in a different way.
Can you elaborate on that?
I already have. When you align with your true self, your electromagnetic fields around your body send out electromagnetic bubbles at the speed of light with every heartbeat that helps smooth out, balance, and align the electromagnetic field of the entire planet. So empathizing with those beings, matching frequency with those beings, communing with those beings who may suddenly appear in your realm because of an electromagnetic shift in their orientation, is an opportunity for you to realign the electromagnetic field of your being, and together realign the electromagnetic field of your planet. Colloquially speaking, linearly speaking.
Excellent.
It's not an accident that you call them pilot whales. Pilot yourself along the correct path that is the correct one for you. You are the navigator. You are the pilot of your reality. That's at least one of the simplest symbols that they represent. By beaching themselves, they're giving you an indication that there is now something out of balance, what you would call pilot error. Pilot error has caused many crashes. Don't crash. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes.
All right.
So-
And?
Will that pilot error only be relevant to people who are aware of this beaching?
No. There are other expressions, other ways of understanding the expression, other ways of interpreting, other ways of applying it. But nevertheless, you're aware of it, so you can use it that way, since it's something that came into your awareness, your reality, since you co-created it for yourself to be aware of. Yes?
Yes.
It's up to you.
Okay.
Perhaps it will help you all develop some new zeal for life.
So I work in marine conservation and fisheries management.
Yes. Well, then you are ideally suited for this, are you not?
Yes. So it's clear the way we're managing, at least where I'm from, is not, doesn't work.
It's clear.
That the way fisheries are managed isn't working.
Then what can you do to change that? Because again, remember, the language of physical reality is action.
Right.
In alignment with your passion. So what can you contribute?
Well, I've been trying to push to more ecosystem whole.
All right, well, you don't have to try. Just be yourself and do the best you can. Just be the best example you can, so that others at least can see by example that something different could happen. If you're not the actual living example, you're not giving anyone else an option to know that something different could happen, that it could be done in a different way. Yes?
Yes.
Well, so what are you doing? And can you do it in a more exciting way? Can you do it in a fuller way, a bigger way, a more imaginative way, a more creative way? Are you holding back for some reason?
Yes.
Why?
I guess I don't really like to be known that much.
Why not? Why would you want to deprive others of the gifts that you have? That's not very nice.
I don't know if that's the conscious reason.
I'm not necessarily saying that it is, but I am now bringing it to your conscious attention.
Okay.
So, why would you hold your gifts back? Why don't you want to be known?
I guess in case they're not accepted.
So what? The people that won't accept it aren't your audience. The people that will are. So why do you care that the ones that would never accept it know about it and reject it anyway? It's not up to you that they should accept it. It's none of your business whether they accept it. Just be yourself and let the ones who wish to accept it. What do you care about the ones that don't? That's another reality. That's not yours. What do you think?
I like it.
All right, then. Do it that way. Have a definition that works for you instead of one that works against you.
Okay. So as long as my definitions feel good to me.
And they work for you.
And they work for
As long as you are clear that what you are creating is from your excitement and not anxiety, then you will be clear. Simple as that. As we have often said, there are no one-sided coins. If you have the head, the tail must exist or there is no coin. So if you have a gift to give, that should tell you, by definition, someone must be waiting to receive it, or you wouldn't be excited about giving it, because that would be pointless. So if you have a gift, someone is waiting to receive it. Don't keep them waiting. Yes?
Yes.
The ones that are not waiting to receive it never will, unless they change into those that do. And if they do, then there will be more that are willing to receive it. If they don't, that's another reality that's none of your concern. Yes?
Yes.
Don't put so much weight on your shoulders. It's not your job to determine what other people do and don't accept. It's none of your business. Yes?
Yes.
Doesn't that feel a little lighter?
Feels good.
All right. Remember, your own bags weigh nothing. If you feel weighed down, it means you're carrying around bags that belong to someone else. Drop them. They're not yours. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I had a question about people on Earth. Have you met anybody who is a contact specialist like you, but from Earth? That's doing it now?
Well, in a sense, because we are channeling through him,
Yeah. Okay.
it sort of makes the channel a contact specialist. But yes, there are others on your planet that are beginning to develop contact specialities.
Okay, because that was brought up for me because of a book called Autobiography of a Yogi.
Yes.
And in that, the yogi's teacher, his name is Sri Yukteswar,
Yes.
he talks about going to other planets
Yes.
and basically doing a contact specialist type of role.
Yes.
And that was after he transitioned from his physical body.
Yes.
And he basically came back and described what he was doing after he transitioned.
Yes.
So do
It's
you?
not that unusual.
Yeah, I was wondering if you noticed that very often.
From your planet, not that often, but it does occur,
Okay.
and it is growing.
And do people do that by just astral traveling? I've heard
For the
you
most
hinting.
part, yes.
Okay.
There are a few who can physically bilocate as well.
Okay.
You don't really know most of them. Most of them are in what you call indigenous cultures, being what you would call probably the shamans. Most of them. Not all of them, but most of them.
And is there ways that humanity as a whole is moving in that direction, or is it more so people who are drawn to that as their highest excitement?
Yes and yes.
Okay, awesome. That was
And
the
you
only-
know the answer to the first one because we've given it several times.
Yeah. That was my only question.
All right.
Good talking with you again.
And you as well.
Have a great day.
You too.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
So we have a few questions from our Ustream listeners
Yes.
in the remaining time.
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is, what exactly is meant by the structure of existence?
The 5 laws. You exist. Everything is here and now. The one is the all are the one. What you put out is what you get back, and everything changes except the laws. That's a description of the structure of existence.
So it's interesting because these questions are, what is the relation of the structure of existence to the 5 laws? So clearly there's something that's not clear.
It is a description. That's the relationship. It's a description in your language of the structure. That's the relationship.
And the structure and existence itself is just isness, right?
Yes, just isness. But the 5 laws describe what it is structurally, how it is interpreted in the realities that you call your reality and other dimensional levels of reality. That's the interpretation of the structure, is what we call the 5 laws.
Now, this would include then the one where it doesn't have self-awareness?
No, because there's no awareness, no experience.
Right.
But it is still subject to the idea of isness. It is the one. This is a description of the one. Its existence itself is the one. There's no difference there.
So it's simply the one experiencing itself in a reflective reality. That is
The one is the structure of existence.
Right.
Whether it experiences it or not
Right.
is irrelevant.
So, but the 5 laws, since they describe the experience of
Is the
existence,
all that is level of the one of existence, where it's aware of itself and thus has to express itself in some kind of a structure. Otherwise, there is no reflection.
So basically, the structure of existence is isness, and it's also all that is experiencing itself.
Yes. And it is the one that doesn't experience itself.
Right. Got it. Okay. So the other one was, who decides what I need? How do I find out what I, and not some other power, law, whatever, needs?
By following your passion to the best you can with no insistence or assumption on the outcome. Synchronicity will provide you exactly with what you need. Remember, we said there are 7 basic needs to allow yourself to continue to have a physical experience. You need air, otherwise you die very quickly. Yes? Yes. You need water, otherwise you die relatively quickly. Yes? Yes. You need sleep, otherwise you will go insane and die relatively quickly. Yes? Yes. You need food or you will die relatively quickly. Yes, we know there are some exceptions. Don't question us about that. That's another story. You need food or you will die relatively quickly. You need some form of shelter. Now that can be an environment. It doesn't even have to be a house or a building of any kind. If the environment is peaceful enough, supportive enough, comfortable enough, that's shelter. And you need the idea of connection, relationship to something. It doesn't even have to be to another person. It can be to a tree. It can be to the cosmos. It can be to a rock. You need relationship, connection to source, to something. And you need absolute self-expression of your truth. This is the idea of following your passion. These are the needs that you need, and when you have those needs, you will be fulfilled, because those needs describe everything you actually need to experience to have a fulfilling physical life. Therefore, it's self-evident, because synchronicity will bring you what you need. And you will know it, because it's in alignment with your passion and you will feel fulfilled.
Okay.
All right.
I was just deciding what other question to ask you. There's one here that says, if everything is symbolic anyway, what is the difference between a screen memory and something that actually happened?
Don't dismiss the idea of symbology as if it's not representative of something that actually has its own autonomous sense of itself as a reality. That's a different idea. A screen memory is simply something replacing one symbol with another, but still representative of an actual autonomous self-reflected reality or consciousness.
So you're saying they're both real?
They're both real as experiences.
Right. So, because even the subconscious mind, doesn't it, if it sees something else being hurt, it actually internalizes that and believes it's happening to the physical body?
Yes.
So is it sort of on that level?
It can be used on that level. It can be experienced on that level. Let's take it down to the most obvious and simplest analogy, using the idea literally of a screen, like a movie screen. Yes? Mm-hmm. When you are sitting in one of your movie theaters and the movie is not yet playing, you are looking at the screen. You would say, well, all right, that's really there. That's what's really there, the screen. But the screen is also a symbol of a story about to be told. It is preparing you for something. It's a symbol of something you are about to experience. And when the movie is projected on it, then you could say, well, that's a screen memory, because I'm now seeing something other than the screen I originally saw, but that particular symbol is still giving me a real experience. So they're both real in their own contexts, and they're both symbols in their own context, and the experience of both is real, and both of them are illusionary projections of consciousness that are arranged in a context that serves a purpose.
And the main thing behind this is that the symbols that you see will be symbols that are relevant to you as a consciousness.
Relevant to you and relevant to whatever interaction you're having with the other that may also be participating in the co-creation of the screen memory.
Okay, yes.
Because it's a shared reality, yes.
I understand. And I would say the last question, because I know you probably want to do the holotope, is what is the difference between the energy that is being channeled by Bashar and Abraham?
A difference in frequency, because we are quasi-physical and Abraham is not physical at this point. So it's a difference in frequency. It's a difference in the idea of magnetic fields. It's a difference in the kind of symbology and communication form that takes place between this entity, that entity, and your entities. There are many differences, but there are also many similarities. We have our own shared reality of a type that is different than what you experience as a shared reality.
Yes, the concepts you share, the energy you share.
I mean literally a shared reality.
Yes.
Not just the concepts. A shared reality.
Right, like a Vesica Pisces.
A real dimensional reality. That is our experience. You see, when we talk about the idea of communicating with your world, remember that we said, in a sense, just to use your language, we kind of have to ask permission from your collective consciousness to do so?
Yes.
Well, the idea is, in getting that permission and knowing it's appropriate to do so, making sure that we're not interrupting your processes, not spilling your beans and letting all your cats out of all your bags, and so on and so forth. We do that by creating a different reality with your collective consciousness, a shared reality in which these communications can take place. So while you may think you are still in the same reality that you were before you arrived in this conversation, you're not. This is a different reality that we're having this conversation in than the one you arrived from and the one you will go back to. They will all be different. But this is a unique shared reality.
One of the elements of that is the sensation that many people get when you come through of a big shift in the energy.
Yes.
Because
you're perceiving the actual shift to another shared reality in which these conversations can take place. Because we kind of have to create a buffer so that our vibrational states will be more compatible in order to share this information. So you are buffered in this exchange.
Well, it's really lovely buffering with you.
It is exquisite buffering with all of you as well. And now we will allow you to take a short break in your buffer in order to prepare for the holotope experience, which will help crystallize and time crystallize what we have shared with you this day. Enjoy a short break.
Bashar.
And you good day.
Nice to be with you.
And you as well.
I am involved with a group and...
How exciting!
I know. Very exciting. And we are very interested and excited about extraterrestrial contact.
Well, you're having one right now.
Yay! So...
We are very excited about extra Esasani contact.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm having one right now, too.
Woo!
What a coincidence.
Isn't that
What
neat?
are the odds?
So here I am.
And here we are. What would you like to discuss now that this contact has occurred?
I would like to discuss my involvement with the Yael.
Yes. What would you like to know? Oh, one moment. The Yael, for those that are not familiar, is the name of the hybrid species extraterrestrial beings that will be the first extraterrestrial species to eventually actually have open contact with the Earth. Go ahead. You have some specific door you wish to walk through on this subject?
Yes,
And that would be what?
I would like to know if I've had any interactions so far.
Yes.
I have.
Yes.
And may it be possible that I am to assist with them?
You are assisting.
Okay, good.
You just don't know it yet.
Okay.
Remember, one of the things that we have said that we use as a barometer is that many of you have actually already had contact, perhaps in a slightly different dimensional plane than your physical reality, but you don't remember it yet. And the reason you don't remember it is because that forgetfulness is used as a barometer. When you start to remember that you've already had contact, whether that memory comes back in the form of an awaking recognition or a dream recognition, doesn't matter. When you start to remember you've already had contact, the rate at which you remember contact has already occurred is a barometer by which we can tell how much readier you are for more contact. You understand?
I do. So what is keeping me from remembering my contact and actually...
Nothing. What makes you think you have to remember more than you do at the moment?
I want to.
You want to,
I do.
but maybe you don't need to. May I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure. Anything.
Thank you. Are you acting on your highest joy every possible moment that you can to the best of your ability with zero expectation for the outcome?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Do you believe that that's all you need to do to allow your life to unfold in a natural way so that everything you need to know will unfold in perfect timing, and that means you don't need to know what you don't need to know a second before you need to know it, but that you trust you won't know it a second later than you need to?
I'm working on that.
Then that means the original answer ought to have been no.
Right.
You understand?
I do.
Understanding, knowing, is synonymous with action, with behavior. What you know for sure to be true, you just do. It's not about believing it. It's not about faith. What you know, you just do. Knowing is synonymous with action.
Intention and action are the same.
No, they are not.
Okay.
But they ought to be.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Many people on your planet have segregated these concepts. I have an intention. Really? All right, well, when will you act on it? I don't know. I just intend it. All right. But yes, fundamentally, intention and action are synonymous. But it's knowing and action really that are synonymous. Because if you have a small object and you put it on the floor and somebody asks you to pick it up, you just pick it up. You don't sit there and go, well, I believe I can pick it up. I have faith that I can pick it up. I think I can pick it up. You just know you can, and when you know you can, you just pick it up, showing you that knowing and action are synonymous. So the idea of acting on your highest joy every moment is also synonymous with knowing and understanding the structure of existence itself. And part of the structure of existence itself, if you understand it, if you know it, would tell you, would be obvious to you, that things unfold synchronistically in perfect timing, exactly as they need to. And if there is something right now that you don't know, that you have no ability to act on to know, then you don't need to know it yet. But that if you do need to know it, nothing will stop that knowledge from coming to you. You will know it exactly when you need to know it. You will not know it a second before you need to know it, but you will not know it a second after you need to know it. This goes hand in hand with these definitions that many people on your planet have that gets them into trouble all the time, such as the idea of abundance in the form of money. And people say, I wish I had more than enough. No one has more than enough. No one has more than they need. Everyone has exactly the perfect reflection of what they believe is true for them. It doesn't matter whether you have money sitting around in the bank that's not immediately being spent. It doesn't mean you have more than you need. It means that if you attracted that, or whatever form of abundance you have attracted, because money is not the only form, then you have exactly, perfectly the equal reflection to the vibratory level that you are operating on in context to that concept. There is never more than you need, and there is actually never less than you need. Remember, watch your definitions. People that explore the idea of lack often think that they lack abundance. No one lacks abundance. If you're experiencing lack, it just means you have an abundance of lack. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Because if you understand that you have an abundance of lack, an abundance of the experience called lack, then you understand that that means you don't have to learn to be abundant. You just have to change what you're abundant in. That's a big difference. A big difference. Because you don't have to learn how to do that. You just have to shift to a vibration that's more representative of the form of abundance you prefer, rather than thinking, oh, I have to learn how to be abundant. I have to learn how to trust. You don't have to learn how to trust. You trust 100% all the time in something. But sometimes you trust 100% in a negative idea that you don't prefer, that's out of alignment with your truth. But you don't have to learn how to trust. If you weren't trusting in something all the time 100%, you wouldn't be having an experiential reality at all. Yes?
Yes.
Make sense?
Does.
This is part and parcel of what it means to have a full and complete understanding of the nature of the structure of existence. Because once you understand the nature of it, the structure of it, all these things become obvious. You see the framework, and it just becomes obvious how all these concepts fit. And you can always take a concept and put it up against the framework and see what fits and what does not. And what does not doesn't belong in your life.
Right.
Doesn't fit with you. Because you have a unique perspective of that framework. So what doesn't fit your unique perspective for you doesn't belong in your life. It belongs to someone else. You've picked it up along the way. It's a belief that you have borrowed or stolen from someone else. Don't be a belief thief.
Yeah, I'm recovering.
You're recovering. All right. Have you taken the 13th step?
I am now.
All right. What is the 13th step? Do you know?
I don't.
Then how can you take it?
I believe it's love, unconditional love.
Love has everything to do with it. But the idea of the 13th step is the full understanding that all change, any change, is a total change. And that means that even though you may say, oh, it's just a small little change, that's not accurate. If you understand that every change is a total change, and I mean total, take me literally, of everything, you are in a different universe as a different person. Literally, 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 this is not a metaphor.
That's exciting.
And when you know you are at every moment a truly different person and choose to define yourself in that moment as a truly different person, then you will understand that even if you still hold on to the concepts of past and future history, the person you are now, the person you define yourself to be right now, has a different history than the person that was there a moment ago. And that means, with regard to things like addictions, that if you truly define yourself as a different person and you know that to be true, remember, knowing is synonymous with action, then it's not about the idea that you no longer have the addiction, it's the idea that you never did. You see the difference?
I do.
And when you know you never did, then of course there's no urge. You never had one. Because you're a person who never experienced that. That's what the 13th step actually means. Are you beginning to get the picture?
Yes.
Remember that you're shifting literally billions of times per second through parallel reality sequences. Billions of times per second. In fact, shifting your consciousness through billions of static, unmoving, parallel realities per second is actually what creates the side effect you call as time and space and change and movement. Time is the side effect of the shifting of your consciousness through billions of static, unmoving, unchanging parallel realities in the same way a projector light moves through frames on a film strip. You know that no one frame ever moves. You only get the illusion of movement when you run all the frames past the projector light. The projector light is your consciousness. Parallel realities are the frames on the film strip. You move through them, in a sense, or they move through you, billions of frames per second, creating the illusion of space and time and change and movement. But if you understand that, then when you realize you are actually shifting from parallel reality to parallel reality, another version of Earth, another version of Earth, another version of Earth, another version of Earth that is reflective of the vibrational changes going on within you, then you will realize your world actually never changes, only you do. And you just take yourself to another Earth billions of times a second that's simply more representative of the vibrational change you made within your consciousness. Can you wrap your mind around that?
Yes, I can.
Then you're beginning to get the beginning little inkling of what the true nature of existence really is. When you can really start to wrap your mind around that, when you can really start to viscerally understand and see that structure and how it really exists and how you truly create the reality experience you're having, then all these ideas will be as obvious to you as it is when someone asks you, what color is a red rose? And you say red. Because that's not an opinion, it's an observation. And to us, when we answer these ideas, when we discuss these notions, these concepts, and we give you this information, we are simply looking at the nature, at the structure of existence, and it is as obvious to us as the color of a rose is to you. Make sense? Puts a new spin on perspective, doesn't it?
Wow.
Oh, well said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
It's nice to have this second interaction with you.
Oh, all right. It is always the first time, though.
Yeah. Or is it really even the third or fourth or fifth?
No, always the first.
That makes sense. There's a civilization that
Speak up so that all may hear what you have to share.
There's a civilization that I've been curious about for a long time.
Such as?
Their planet is described as being 10 light years away, 2.5 times larger than our Earth, with 2 concentric rings around it, mostly covered with water, scant islands, and high population density.
What civilization are you describing?
In our language, they're referred to as Iarga, I-A-R-G-A.
Oh, we understand.
Okay.
It is actually not in your reality. It is another dimension altogether. Remember that even though in each reality, those realities, those galaxies, those universes may seem physical to them and are, they're not necessarily physical to you. And yours is not necessarily physical to them unless they make a shift into your frequency domain. It is similar with us. Our civilization orbits a star that is approximately 500 light years in the direction of what you call the Orion constellation, but you can't see our star because we're not in your dimension of reality. We have our own universe. But that's how it would appear if it were to overlap yours. So what you are referring to is a civilization that would be, in a sense, around a star about that distance if they were actually in your reality, but you're just describing an overlap, how it lays over your particular galaxy, but it's not in your physical reality at all. It's in another physical universe. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. As it seems that our visible universe is just a small sliver of what's actually out there.
Yes.
All right.
What's actually in here, you mean?
Right, because it doesn't exist out there.
Not really, it's just a reflection.
And is that one of the civilizations that may make contact with us in a...
They do on a certain level, but not exactly as you may think. It is more of a mental contact, but it brings with it the idea of physical projections that may make it seem like a physical contact.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, or is there something else you wish to discuss?
Well, the other question I have is in my childhood, which you would say is still going on.
Of course.
I had an experience which is unexplained and unusual.
Define.
When I was 5 years old, I saw something unusual at the foot of my bed.
Define.
I can't really remember what exactly I saw.
Then how do you know it was unusual?
Whatever it was frightened me.
Yes.
The other thing that was unusual was I woke up backwards on my bed.
This is not uncommon.
Okay.
Many times those beings don't exactly remember how to put people back.
So I had a temporary...
However, I am actually being facetious. Because they actually knew exactly what they were doing. Because they created what? A mystery for you.
They sure did.
So all of those things that people have described in what you call alien abduction phenomenology, when they seem to get things wrong, put you backwards, put your clothes on inside out, leave you outside on a country road miles from your house, it's not because they're forgetful chaps. It's because they understand that certain things need to awaken within you, and that if you have a clue that you must follow, that in a sense a mystery will follow you through your life, and that someday, somehow, that mystery must be answered, must be solved. It will lead you down a path that will allow for some awakening to occur as it needs to occur in your life.
I understand.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Pleasant dreams to you.
Thank you.